are talking about the Norwegian B-movie Stallo Awakens, and this one is written and directed by Freddie Wirth. That's actually a meagre running time on this one, under 70 minutes, so it is a in and out film. And what's the story? Well, we have a group of teenagers going on some type of school trip out in the middle of woods to do some type of filming projects, and they're going to spend the night in this kind of particular area of the woods. However, when they are there, they go off the beaten track slightly and found what appears to be an unearthed grave of an ancient burial ground of some type of ancient kind of civilization. And there's like an old skeleton in there and everything. And they are warned by a wise old man not to disturb the grave because it is actually a body of a evil shaman who was kind of buried alive centuries before. And of course, as you can probably guess, they do disturb it, and this kind of spirit takes form and chases these teens. And well, what happens? You have to watch the movie to find out. So let's discuss Stallo Awakens. So this is a completely by the numbers kind of teens on the run, slasher in the woods type movie. What works, first of all, it's interesting seeing a kind of like a non-English speaking language kind of version of a kind of this typical kind of like slasher story, and because normally these kind of things come out of this from America, so it's interesting having a kind of a Norwegian version of that. So that's you know, that's something, I suppose. I actually thought the cast did an okay job on this one, I will say. I always find it a little bit of a struggle to really make a judgment call on acting on sort of foreign language movies, but I actually didn't mind certainly the physical acting with these guys. You know, they seem to be doing an okay job in regards to kind of some of the sort of like the line delivery and the acting and stuff. So that was okay. There are a couple of reasonable gore moments here. It looks like they kind of are using real kind of animal guts to, you know, when the people's getting, you know, their intestines pulled out, things like that. So there are a couple of albeit very short moments of, you know, fairly kind of graphic gore scenes here. And the story is easy to follow. And the other thing I would say, which I'm going to come on to again, and that is that there's a lot of payoff for things that are introduced throughout the movie. In actual fact, this movie is one of the only films that I can really can think of where there is, I just noticed there's so many things that are set up and like are foreshadowed, you know, like, and then kind of like you get all this stuff kind of paying off later on in the movie, and it does it so much. I actually got, I noticed that it was so much of it. That's not really a criticism as such, but it was very kind of obvious, so to speak. So like, there's natural methane gas coming out of the ground here. Remember that for later. Oh, look at these kebab flavoured condoms. Remember that for later. You know, loads of stuff like this, basically. But I'm going to say this movie is very kind of mediocre on every other level, to be quite honest. So the actual cast of characters, although I didn't mind the acting, the characters are such broad cliches. Of course, you've got the virginal girl who actually, you know, the killer wants because she's a virgin. You've got the slutty girl. You've got like the douchey guy who's like a real douche in this one. It's like a real like nasty piece of work. You've got the kind of like the Joker. And you've got the kind of the sensitive like new kid. You know, very broad stereotypes that only ever really seem to have this one kind of like character trait. Maybe actually the virginal girl, she's actually dating the douchey guy, and I just think, come on, you've got to be an idiot to not kind of like realise this guy is like, you know, some kind of asshole. So it makes her look a little bit dumb. But then she nearly kisses the new guy, and I thought, at this point you don't know this guy is doing the dirty on you. So come on, that actually makes you just as guilty. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, so broad character stereotypes here. The killer is really uninspired. Now it's a supernatural force, but it is when I kind of watch this movie, it actually looks like a guy in a sniper suit. If you ever watched a military film and you see these guys in like the big sort of camo things, it just looks like a guy in like camouflage, like with a kind of like fake, you know, shrubs on him and stuff like that. It looks like a sniper, and it's meant to be that this shaman was kind of buried under the earth, and they plucked out his eyes. He's kind of become one with the kind of the earth essentially. But yeah, it looks like this dude looks like a sniper without a sniper rifle. It looks really good. He even moves just like a guy as well, like just like a human. So it isn't scary at all. To be fair, you don't really see him all that much. But I've got to say, where the film really gets let down, I think, is the technical side here, because I think this technically is a bit of a mess. The editing is awful. There is some really horrendous cuts in this movie, and kind of transitions to kind of different scenes, really kind of jarring, and just kind of feel like it's been completely hacked. There's that. The audio on this movie is terrible, and what I mean by this is they've obviously added effects and kind of probably done a lot of the ADR as well. But like the audio effects, like the Foley effects and things like that, they're so like obvious. Like, you know, you'll kind of like, you'll have someone walking through grass and go choo, choo, choo. Things like this. It's just really kind of like massively OTT kind of sound effects to what's happening, and the audio sounds like it's kind of artificial and in kind of a recording booth on a lot of occasions and stuff like this. So the audio, I've got to say, is not good. So it's just not a particularly technically proficient movie. I don't want to kind of hammer on it too much, but there's just a few things like that to me that just made this film seem very kind of just like kind of slapped together, maybe like a kind of a student film. The story is completely uninspired. Like I've said, you've even got the cliched, you know, wise old man who pops up for no apparent reason, and he's just kind of wandering around in the woods apparently. There's just nothing really to kind of recommend this movie outside. If you just want to watch every slasher film and you're interested in a European version, then maybe check it out. But it's, you know, I don't often see like B movies coming out from you know, non-English speaking countries, or well, maybe not European countries. So it's interesting seeing a pure B movie coming out from kind of Norway, because sometimes a lot of these kind of like foreign language movies actually tend to be quite good and quite well made. This one isn't. This one is a proper schlocky, no thought in it kind of B movie. So I'll give this one a 3 out of 10. I really don't think it's particularly good stuff at all. I mean, it's like I've said, the story's easy to follow. The characters are, you know, fairly, you know, easily identifiable and things like this. But we're talking basic stuff to kind of recommend this. A 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.